Is anything from cases or consultations?
Not from cases or consultations, but definitely an update here on the visa bulletin for October 2024. So I'm looking at it right now. I did some analysis earlier, and unfortunately, there's not really much good news in the visa bulletin. For those of you who are not aware, the government's fiscal year starts in October every year. So when the October visa bulletin comes out, it is usually a good projection of how USCIS sees its openings for immigrant visas over the course of the year. So normally there's a lot more available in October, and normally a lot of people are then eligible to file their I-485s because so many new numbers become open for filing. This year, there did not seem to be very much movement, and this is especially true in EB2 rest of world. So not India or not China, but all the other countries. It looks like the backlog for quote unquote final action dates, so this is for people who can actually be granted the green card, is standing in at about 1.5 years right now. And then people can file if they obtained their priority date roughly a year ago. So there's a year ago if you want to file, and then there's 1.5 years if you want to actually be granted the green card once you have filed. So what that means is that the backlog is pretty persistent because it's been 1 year to 1.5 years for almost a year now. So really that means it's been 2 years. You can always count on the backlog being a little bit longer than what it is reflected in this visa bulletin. I had been telling people for EB2 rest of world that they could probably get their green cards in 2 to 3 years after filing the I-140. That may have been a bit optimistic. We may now be looking at a 3 to 4 year timeline, potentially even a 5-year timeline. And so if you are EB2 rest of world and you are on an F1 visa, definitely make getting that H-1B a priority, even if you already have your NIW approved. If you are on H-1B and you haven't yet received an I-140 approval, make that a priority as well, whether you file for your own NIW or whether you push your company to start the perm process for you. Typically, rest of world people didn't need to worry because once they got on H-1B, worked for 1 year, and then did perm, they never really had any danger of kind of going through that 6-year maximum for the H-1B. But now I think there is a significant danger. And so now rest of world people are going to be in the same situation as Indian nationals typically were, where you will need an I-140 approval and you will need to try and plan and extend your H-1B past that 6-year maximum. So with the longer timelines comes more importance on planning for the future, planning long term. Yeah, so I can't really say there's any good news with the visa bulletin. I've definitely been working with a couple of clients that we filed last year, and they're just under the cutoff date for filings. They have priority dates in September of 2023, where the cutoff is in August of 2023. So it's a big disappointment and certainly not expected, but this is the nature of immigration. Keep the dates in mind, look at the visa bulletin yourself, but definitely engage in some longer term planning because you may need it.